We've been talking this month about Jesus' first messages as he begins his work to the public. Everybody been enjoying that? We talked about the message that he brought to the people. Today we're going to talk about the interaction with those that were familiar. When he first came on the scene to do this work, he was honored by his cousin John. And 6 of John's disciples asked if they could walk with Jesus. And I wanted to share this with you. We're just going to hop right in. You guys ready?
Yep.
Hopping in. This is Aquarian 64. 15. Well, that's not right, is it? Well, 66. All right. The disciples said, 6 disciples, this is James and John, brothers, Andrew and Peter, brothers, Philip and Nathaniel, brothers. They had been with John because he had been speaking a higher truth, John the Baptist. Peter said to Jesus, "We have long sought for Christ. We came from Galilee to John. We thought that he was the Christ, but he confessed to us he was not. He was the harbinger sent forth to clear the way, and making the pathway easy for the coming King. And when you came, he said, 'Behold the Christ. We would gladly follow where you go, Lord. Tell us what to do.' And then Jesus said, 'I have no home. You know, foxes have a home, birds have a home. I have no home on this earth.' And Peter said, 'I cannot speak for any man, but for myself I will speak. I will leave all and follow you.' And then they all said, 'You have the words of truth. You came from God, and if we follow in your footsteps, we cannot miss the way.'" That was the original 6 that joined him, almost from the beginning, right after the wilderness experience. They were looking for the Christ. They were looking for the one who would bring the higher knowledge. When they saw him, they saw the Christ. They did not see Jesus the man. Do you see? They saw the Christ man. So they could recognize what they had been seeking was being held within this man, and they wanted to learn and follow him. They had no history with him. Do you hear me? Those that we have history with, it gets a little bit more complicated. So, being familiar with someone means that we know the energy patterns they have, and we know how to interact with them. When we are familiar with someone, we know their energy patterns. We know how much we can lean on them, not for support, but lean on them, pressure them perhaps. We know what we can get from them. We know how to move them, how to influence them. We also create expectations for them. That's familiarity. You got it? Can you think of people in your world? You probably can't think of anybody in your world that is family or friend that you don't have this relationship with. You know their vibrations. You know who they are. You know how to move with them. You do it subconsciously. And it's not always for you to get your needs met, but it is always for you to get your needs met. Always. We are always seeking to get loved and happiness and what we need, what we feel we need in the world. So it's always about making me feel good about myself or supporting whatever my agenda happens to be. So our friends and family that we hold around us, that we're in familiar relationship, pro or con, somehow is supporting us. So I already knew that. Good. Okay. All right. A family dynamic is deeper because the interplay is cellular. We are raised with expectations whether you're aware of it or not. Even if you had a fabulous mother. You're still raised with expectations. And you will take on the energy pattern of the people around you, or you will take on an energy pattern in response to the people around you. I don't like you, so I will defend myself from you. I don't trust you, so I will protect myself. Do you see? This is deep dynamics that we roll with. And it's an idea, in this, is the idea of belonging, though. My family, right or wrong, don't like them, but you guys can't talk bad about them. They're still my family. Do you all kind of, this is sense of belonging. And we're belonging to a historical pattern when we claim that. It keeps us in a space. So, we have a young man who left home at 12. We're talking about Jesus. He left home at 12. He is now coming back 30. Do you think he's a different young man? In the Aquarian, it tells us he actually returned home before then when he was in his young 20s, and I wanted to share that with you. That should be 43, Aquarian 43. So Jesus comes back to see his mom and his family. You know, Jesus is the eldest of Mary's. Okay? So he comes back to see them, and his mother's heart was filled with joy. She made a feast for him, inviting all of her family and friends. And Jesus' brothers were not pleased that such attention should be paid to one they deemed a sheer adventurer. They went not into the feast. They laughed their brother's claims to scorn. They called him indolent, ambitious, vain, a worthless fortune hunter, who, after many years, returns to the mother's home with neither gold nor any wealth of any kind. So they wouldn't have anything to do with him. So, when he returned, who were they looking for? They were looking for a man that would fit the pattern of the men in their family. Joseph had died many years before. Don't you think these boys had been supporting the family? Sure. They've been out working, supporting the family. Don't they want elder brother to bring some goods home? You've been out gallivanting. You know, it's time to pay up, dude. Time to put some money on the table. That's what they saw. They saw their world. They could not see his world. They could not see his world. Do you hear me? When we go and grow in our own personal lives, do you ever find those moments when you are back in family dynamics and the family wants you immediately to go back into their expectations of you? To either be like them, why do life this way so you should look like me, or to at least be like they remembered you. Be that little child, be that whatever you were to them. The family dynamic may not grow while you are outgrowing. But we have to become aware of it. So what did Jesus do? This is what Jesus did. He called aside his mother and her sister Miriam and told them of his journeys to the east. He told them of the lessons he had learned, of the works he had done, and to others he told not the story of his life. So, they weren't going to look in his world. He wasn't going to drag them into it. He could see their world. They're fine in their world. They're doing what they need to do. But the ones that were receptive, his mom, and don't you think Mary would be receptive? She had nurtured him from birth to 12. She had heard this little boy speak always about his love of God. Everything out of his mouth was, this is representative of God, this is God. Why do they think God believes that? God doesn't believe that. He had this innate knowing of God. She knew his soul. She knew him inside. So when he came back and said, Mom, look, I've grown my soul. She's like, yes, of course you have. What else would you do? If he'd come back with money, she would have said, what happened? Jesus, what happened? That's not you. So those that were receptive to the energy of that soul growth, he could share the stories with. And what I find interesting, we don't know how he felt, right? It doesn't tell us how he felt. These are his brothers. They're being kind of snappy at him. What I find interesting is his very next step. He tells his mom, and then he goes to Egypt to enter the mystery schools to refine his soul. Maybe those boys got under his skin a little bit. You know, anytime we have someone aggressive at us, isn't it our responsibility to go within and find out what within us allows that to bother us? You know, why am I bothered by that? I need to go within and figure that out. But he goes within and he goes to the mystery schools, and we do not know how long he is there, but he doesn't come out until he's 30. And this is when he begins his work with his people. So, our family judges us when they want us to meet their expectations and when they want us to join them in their world. They want us back. Our family judges us when they want us to meet their expectations and when they want us back in their world. Sometimes your soul growth will not allow that to be back in their world or to meet their expectations. Sometimes the growth of your soul takes you in a different direction. Do you guys hear me? Maybe some of you are to be like the boys in the world, fortunate and blessed and being fabulous. Maybe you are to go and grow your soul like Jesus in that way, to have that intimate knowing of the Christ. No one knows. No one knows. And your family knows the least. Because the family dynamic is all about everybody's needs being met. And when you are born to a couple who's in a moment. Do you think that couple stays in that moment forever? But are you expected to stay their expectations of you forever? Yes. 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 Sometimes the role of parent-child doesn't even change until the parent becomes the child. And it switches. It doesn't ever stop. It just switches. Do you see? And you can be... I always marvel at everybody going home for the holidays. Really? Okay. This is our belief. This is our holy holiday. This is Christmas. Yay! Why are you going home? You're not even going to go to church when you go home. And they go home, and they're relegated to being the child. And then they come back and say, that was the worst holiday I ever had. Do you hear? Some have had that experience.
Love it. Happy holidays.
We have to learn to be that soul that trusts and that is, no matter where we are. And our family loves us. They want us to meet their expectations. We just have to learn how to love them and still stay the course. All right. I was going to share a little story. I guess I'll share it with you. When we enter metaphysics, it's very challenging. I don't know if you realize that yet. I was raised with a lot of new thought, a lot of anything in the mystery world I had knowledge of. How to act, I did not. So I was at a Unity church when David was an infant. He had just been born. And I found this Unity church. And so he and I went every Sunday, and he was the only child in the little bassinet they had in there, and he was teensy. And so there was a cry for teachers. We need teachers for our Sunday school class. And so being the good corporate responsible person that I am, I went back to the table they set up in the back of the sanctuary, and I said, yeah, I understand you guys need teachers. And I feel bad because my kid is in there, and he's an infant, and so he's the only infant, and I don't want to teach. But I'm here because I feel guilty, so I just want to let you know I appreciate y'all teaching my kid. And I really don't want to teach. And they said, I'm guilty, so I feel like I need to be here, but I really don't want to, but I feel like I need. And they said, great, you're going to teach the little kids. And I probably said something like, but I really, no, we heard you say you would teach. We don't care why you're teaching. We don't care if you're standing with guilt. If guilt brought you to the table, that's great with us. We need teachers. Sign up. And I was shocked. It's like, this has always worked before. People always tell me guilt is okay, go ahead, take it on. But, so I signed up, and I taught with a teacher. She was a school teacher. And I'm brand new in metaphysical thought and application in daily life. And so my job was to put the craft together. If you know me, this is not my job, right? So I would put the craft together for the lesson, which no one had a lesson. So Sheila, the teacher, would channel down a lesson. And we would chat, and I'd try to put an activity together for the lesson. For little children, I'd never had a child this age before. Mine's still in the cradle. So I remember Friday nights, I'd be calling her, Sheila, what are we doing this Sunday? Sunday's right around the corner. I got a plan. I got to plan. And she started telling me, well, it hasn't come down yet. What do you mean it hasn't come down yet? We got to plan this. I get this thing done. And make it come down. I mean, after about the third or fourth week of it, well, last minute, Saturday night, I get a call saying, oh gosh, I got to put something together. Or Saturday afternoon, this is not enough time for me. I was crying one day. Friday night, same thing. And she said, Cindy, you just got to let it happen. And I started crying. Have fun. And Mike, David's dad, said to me, Cindy, why do you keep going to that church when it upsets you so? And I stopped dead in my tracks, and I'll never forget it. And I went, does he not know this is how I grow? I love this stuff. I cry, and I get mad, I get upset, and then I get through it. But it's like he couldn't see. He could not see the payoff of my soul. And I decided I wouldn't cry at him anymore. But do you hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No matter how difficult it was for me to understand, let it flow, it will come. That was hard for me. Capricorn moon, that was hard for me. Let it flow, it will come. Everything will be provided. You'll get exactly what you need at the 11th hour if that's what's happening. You will know. I'll tell you as I told her. You see? I did that for an entire year. Missed every Sunday service for an entire year to teach the children. And then I taught the teens for 2 years after that. Do you think I learned to trust? But look at the angst of my soul as I'm shifting vibration. And could anybody see what was happening within me? No. It was about me, my soul. It wasn't bringing me financial gain. It wasn't bringing me anything I could tout about in the outer. It wasn't making me super special. It was growing my soul to learn to flow, to listen, to be. That inner labor. And I will give Mike thank you, gratitude. Never once in our time together did he ever suggest that I not go to church. Because that he could see. That was just not going to happen. And we were together till David was 2 years old. And so I continued with my soul growth while the world was changing around me. So it is about your soul and not the world. It is about your soul and not the expectations of the world. All right, so let's take it back to when Jesus comes into this first little bit of right before the real labors begin of his first year of service, okay? So he's got his 6 disciples, and they're in Nazareth now. So they go back and they hang at Mary's house, his mom's, because it's easy. Go regroup, hang at Mary's. They're in Nazareth, and Peter's walking around the city. And a ruler of the synagogue comes to him and says, who is this Jesus lately come from Nazareth? And Peter says, this Jesus is the Christ of whom our prophets wrote. He's the King of Israel, and his mother Mary lives on Marmion Way. Do you not know who this is? Peter's excited that Jesus is getting acknowledged in Nazareth. This is so exciting. And so the synagogue leader says, go tell Jesus, come and talk to me. So Jesus went and ran and told Jesus, and Jesus did not answer, but he didn't go to the synagogue. So that night, the leader of the synagogue went to Mary and Joseph's home. Or not Mary and Jesus' home. Joseph is gone. They were all alone. The ruler asked for a proof of his messiahship and why he would not come to the synagogue when he was bidden. I need to know who you are. I need proof of what you say you are going to do, and why did you not do what I told you to do? And Jesus said this to him. I am not slave to any man. I am not called unto this ministry by the priest. It is not mine to answer when men call. I come the Christ of God. I answer unto God alone. What a shift. Can you see he found his soul? I go not because you ask. I go because I feel guided to go. I don't have to tell you anything. I feel guided to go. The ruler got mad and walked away and said, who is this man that would totally disregard the ruler of the synagogue? Because this is the ruler of the country, basically, the whole religion. So he was very upset with Jesus. So Jesus said this to the people. The people of the town came out in throngs to see him, and he said, a prophet has no honor in his native town among his family. I will not speak in Nazareth until the words I speak and the works I do in other towns have won the faith of men. until you know other people believe me, until you know other people have seen what I can do, I'm not going to say anything here. There are way too many patterns and way too many expectations, and you're going to look at me like I'm my father's son, or I'm my brother's brother, or I'm my mother's son. You're not going to hear me. Everything I say is going to go through all of your filters, and you're going to look for the man, when I am the Christ. Isn't it interesting? He'd shifted his point of origin. He'd shifted his identity. And isn't that what you do when you move from the worldly expectations to being your own soul? We say metaphysically the term being born again. You've heard that in Christendom? I'm born again. Being born again is to shift your point of origin. Shift your point of origin. I am not my parents' child. I am child of God. I have now moved from expectations of a mortal family to the communication with Spirit. Do you see the difference? I have moved from the expectations of my mortal family to communication with Spirit. And then this is what he said to the people. Goodwill to you, my family. I bless you with a boundless love, and I bespeak for you abundant joy and happiness. And he said no more, and all the people marveled much that he would not speak in Nazareth. But he said, I love you guys. You're my family. Of course I love you. You're my family, and you can't hear me. You just can't hear me. I'm going to go talk to people who can. And eventually you'll open enough so that you can too. Can you feel that? Claiming our soul while loving our family. If we believe that we are children of God and love is the core of our being, building a wall toward our family, is that loving? Is that being what we believe? No. Loving our family where they are without putting our toe in their expectations. Hey, this is me. Love you guys. I'm going to interact with you, I'm going to have dinner with you, we're going to have a great time, and I'm going to go home. And I'm going to live in my world. And I'm not going to preach at you, my world. Why would I preach at you at my world? You're happy with your world. People who do not see your soul, people who do not understand the internal growth, typically cannot support you in the way you want them to. Sometimes the greatest support they can give you is a hug and a kiss and I'll see you later. Good luck out there. I don't know what you're doing, but good luck to you. Have you had that from people in your family? Yeah. I don't know how many times I've been told I was crazy. My sister said it. Continues to. Always will. Always has. It's okay. I like my world. I like my world. Changing our point of origin is the moment when we literally move to Spirit and the expectations of family falls away. Now, we have to learn to stay there. Because we've had those moments, haven't we? I'm a child of God no matter what happens. I'm a child of God no matter what happens. And then we'll have someone come to us that we love dearly. Why don't you, could you, would you? Not feeling it. Yeah, but you should. Okay. Now we're back into the dynamic of the attachments and the energy patterns. And then again, we have to what? Go back to point of origin. Who am I? My parents' child or child of God? Child of God. Okay, here I am, child of God. Now I get to choose from within. I get to go where I'm guided to go, speak what I'm guided to speak, and have no expectations levied against me, nor do I have expectations of you. So simple, isn't it? Do you guys have a history with your parents and with your family members?
Oh, yeah.
That was my son. That was my son right there. Nevertheless, I am awesome. So,
Yes, you are.
moments where we need to actually let it go. actually go within and remember who we are and let go of those expectations. And if we remember that when they're speaking to us, when they're levying expectations against us and speaking to us in a way that's uncomfortable, what are they really saying to you? I miss you, come back to my world. Would you just shut up and live in my world? Please just be in my world. Doesn't work for you, why do you want me there? Because it doesn't work for you either. Come. We'll have it not work together. just be in my world. In their own way, they're loving you. So you can thank them. Thank you for caring about me. Thank you for wanting good for me, because that's really what you're wanting. But I need to stay in my world. I need to have my feet in my world. And your world has to grow. Continually. Can y'all feel it in your hearts?
Yes.
All right, let's go with it. Put your feet on the floor. God, we know that your love surrounds us. And we ask that a beautiful light just enfold each one. And I ask Jesus Christ to stand with each one in this beautiful light. And I would invite you just to breathe and feel that safety the light provides for you. And you're not a novice at love and not a novice of wanting good. You want good. I want you to feel that in your heart. I want good for myself in the world. Feel your heart opening. And in this space, feel it becoming very clear, lifting you into clarity, lifting you up into a beautiful open space. I want you to invite any person in your history or in your current world that still resonates with those expectations for you. Family members, could be friends. Just invite whoever comes forward. It can be somebody that you hadn't even thought about for years, but they hold within some expectation. Allow the family members to come forward or the friends. And just see their love for you in a very specific way. And let your heart open. And in your heart say, I am God's child. I choose for my soul. And look at all of the people who have come and say to them, you also are God's child. You also choose. From my heart I bless your choices. From my heart, I free you of all my personal expectations. I trust you know what you are doing. And I now free myself from your expectations. And I trust that I know what I am doing. And feel a beautiful light pouring through you, from your feet all the way to the head. And feel a beautiful wave of forgiving love moving toward your family and back to you. All children of God on different paths. And let's see each of these beings who have appeared, see their guardian angel come forward now and just lift them out. Whoever has appeared before you, whatever family member or friend, see their guardian angel come, love them, and lift them out of your energy field. We are complete. There is only love. Feel a beautiful unconditional love that has no attachment. Now free the world. And let your focus come back to you. Feel your heart again. Father, Mother God, I ask that your love fill each one. Let them in this moment feel they are your child. Beloved, perfect, wonderful. Capable of fulfilling dreams. And feel the support of your Father, Mother God flowing through your heart. Feel your energy field getting strong and bright. And just very gently begin to allow yourself to come back into the awareness of your body. Just dropping back into the physical, the cells, the energy. Life is good. Life is love. And I am child of God. Breathe, send the energy into the room. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. Did you have people come up? A couple? Good. Were you able to let them go? All right. Remember, when you are faced with someone expecting, they just want you in their world, you can love them. If you get agitated, angry, or upset, go within. There's just something within you that's attached. Maybe you also have an expectation of them. You see? Isn't it so fun? This work is so easy.
Yes.
Say, yay, yay God.
Yeah.